What was I gonna do today? Right, so today we're going to try to actually get the username linking for Twitter working with my Markdown extensions, and then I can be done with this project and start on something new probably next week, since it's already Wednesday? Thursday? I forget which day of the week it is. But alright, so let's see, where was I? I smartly left myself a note here, figuring out how to split a paragraph into multiple children and change the needle string into a link node. Hey fuzzy buddy, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I'm waiting for the caffeine to kick in. Today I'm on a yerba mate, so hopefully that's gonna kick in and we're gonna get this done snappy and fast. Now let's see. What does actually work and what doesn't work. Let me zoom in a little bit, open the console, and I think we have a test string here, right? I paste that here and it errors out. Okay, so that's where we're at. I'm gonna go back to my previous tab, and this is getting kind of messy, so let's try extracting this into a function so that it's going to be a little easier to work with. So we are now, sorry, I'm kind of zooming all over, scrolling all over the place. So we have the parent and we have a candidate node. So candidate node is type text, parent is type paragraph, and it has children's and stuff. Awesome. So that part works. We have the parent, and then if the candidate node has an actual username in it and the parent node is a paragraph, so we don't want any text that's inside links or anything to be parsed. So then we're going to be changing stuff, and here for const username of get usernames, we are going to make a function that returns the node value and the parents, or should it do it directly? Okay, let's have a function here. So we're going to say node.value and parent, or let's do it node and parent equals replace link username. We're gonna call it link username, and we're going to give it the username, the node, and the parent node. Those are the ones that it's changing. And here we have function link username, which, let's do it this way, which takes a username, takes a node, and takes the parent node, and does all of the things, and then it returns the node and the parent. That way it's a little easier to see what it's actually doing. So parent, this needs to be a let. So we have node, parent, blah, and then we console log the tree afterwards to see our results. And now link username here is going to, let's see first if we can replace it with a link. So I'm gonna go back to Scratchpad, get my thing, go back, paste. Aha. Undefined is not iterable, cannot read property symbol of blah, link username on line 16, 116. Oh, right, because I need to pass in an object because I'm using named parameters. Paste again. Okay, so that part works. We are correctly replacing the link with a link. Would you say React and Redux would be good for backend programming, like making a social media website or making an e-commerce website? It depends kind of on what you mean by backend. I think Redux could be used for backend. It's probably a good fit because it doesn't really care about rendering or anything like that. It gives you state management, which is okay. I think React is not a great fit for the backend because it's primarily meant as a front-end framework or library or whatever you want to call it. So maybe it would work as a as a quasi backend framework if you are doing server-side rendering, but I don't know if that's what you mean, Fuzzy Buddy. So React is primarily meant to output things to the front end. Now where you actually render that, whether you render it on the back end or you do it on the front end, is irrelevant, but the end result should most likely be front end. Not sure if that quite answers your question, but that's what I got. Okay, so we are going to, let's see, we get the position for our username, so raw clean blah, and then we're going to also get the position, which should be position end and start. So we have the index where it appears. So index also comes from you. Now let's do that. So we have node value replace, and we're going to replace the raw value with nothingness because that will help us. So that takes it out of the thing. Replace raw with an empty string. Where did I learn React? I kind of learned it just by doing a bunch of React and building like what should I say? Building example projects, writing blogs about it, doing research, kind of like playing around. That helped me learn React. And I also learned it by how did I learn it? I'm not sure. I kind of just picked it up by playing with it and experimenting and reading about it and so on. Okay, so how do we create a new node? We are working with unist util. So let's see, unist builder. I think this could help us. Let's go to unified.js.org. Unified collective, read more about it, micromark. Unified stream parse, core, vfile, and unist. Okay, unified.js. Syntax tree, where the specification. How do I make a node? And implement the node syntactic units in unist. Interface position. Position represents blah, point, parent. How do I create a node? Aha, list of utilities. This is what we're looking for. The first language I learned was Logo. Let's see if that still exists actually. Logo programming language. So this is, yes, there we go. Logo programming language. This is the first language I learned, which is apparently from 1967. I learned it in the mid-90s. This was my first programming language. I would build little drawing apps, and then I went from that to Turbo Pascal. And I spent a lot of time in Turbo Pascal. It was a lot of fun. From there I went to C, and then from C I went to, I did some Delphi, and then I went to PHP and HTML and CSS and the web in general, and then eventually to JavaScript and so on. So I've done a bunch of different things. At some point, I think in high school, I also did assembler. Yeah, gotta have the turbo. I'm not actually sure what the difference is between Pascal and Turbo Pascal, but there is a difference. Okay, so let's see. Filter, find after, find blah, flat map, generated index. Inspect is map, modify children. Modify direct children of a parent. That seems useful. Parents, references on nodes, position, remove position, remove nodes from trees. Visit, builder, helper for creating trees, convert trees. Okay, so I think we're going to need something like a combination of unist util remove and something about the, I think what we want is a tree generator. Let's see. Utility to modify direct children of a parent. Okay, so we have modify children modifier, splice type strong children blah yields this and that. Okay, modify direct children of parent. So this and that, we are getting emphasis and we are splicing that into, okay, so that's not what we want. We don't want to modify a child, we want to generate a child. Candy Cane asks if most social media sites are server rendered, and I don't think they are. You can see if you go to Twitter that it is actually client-side rendered, because see how it shows up. Let me show you. If we go to performance and we set CPU throttling to 4 times slowdown, and let's say the network is a slow 3G, you'll see that it's not server-side rendered because it's going to load and then it's going to start rendering. Or maybe it is actually server-side rendered. It might be. I'm not sure. I was pretty sure it's rendering on the front end, but it might actually be rendering initially on the back end. Let's see. So it's slowly showing up. Okay, yeah, so it looks like Twitter at least is server-side rendering the initial load, but then additional updates are definitely rendered on the front end. Okay, so we have the builder creating Unis tree with a hyperscript-like syntax that results in a tree. Creates a node from props children and optionally a value. Okay, so I think this is what we're gonna need. I'm just not sure how to actually use it, so let's try. We are going to... Oh, I know what we're gonna do. Alright, so what we need to do is first add this, yarn add unist builder. I'm going to stop the project, or stop the server running. Okay, got that. And then we say import builder, or import u from unist builder. Got that. And now basically what are we doing? We're taking a paragraph text and we're splitting it into 3 parts. We have the part before the username, and we have the username, and then we have the part after the username. And we're going to replace our node with the new node. Yes, so that's what we're gonna do. And we are gonna... We'll see. Alright, so we got that. Now let's see. We have the value here, and we're going to leave the value for now. So we're going to say note, we're going to say our const parts equals no.value split by the raw string. So that's splitting it to the previous the parts before the username, and after the username. So before username, after username. Okay, oh, actually we can do it this way. So we split that into before and after. Right, let's verify that that's going to work. So if we say before at Swizzets after, and we split that by at Swizzets, we get the before and after and empty part in between. Perfect. So then we create a tree. We say const tree equals u of, I guess it needs to be a paragraph. I don't know what this needs to be. Actually, let's make it into, because this is going to be children. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Not sure. Let's keep it as children. So we create a U and call it, what are we calling it? Right, so we are saying that this is U of type text and the value before, and then we have U of type link, which has value of the raw username, and the URL, which is https twitter.com/of_raw as well. No, clean. So that's the clean part of the username, right? And then we have U of text with the value called after, right? And let's console log that, console log of 3, and see what we get. So if I console log that, okay, paste, I get an error, expected node got object. Where was this? So we get type root children. What? Let's see. Return node and parent. So this shouldn't be making any changes. Yarn start. Are there any programming shows or programming series you would recommend to other programmers? That is a really good question, because I gotta be honest, I don't really make a lot of time to watch programming shows or things like that. What do you mean by finishing a closing deadline, Fuzzy Buddy? Okay, let's see. So paste that in, and we get children's, type text, this should link to Twitter, blah, type link with the value and the URL, and then type text with no. Now is the time you should shamelessly plug your React course. Well, my React course isn't really a show, is it? But I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, I'm trying to think about too many things at the same time. So we have this tree or children. Now how do we replace the damn thing? Okay, so we have this. These are our children. So now let's see what happens if we just replace the parent children with these children. Let's say parent children equals children. Let's see. And I now paste that. So we got children, type paragraph, which have text. This should link to Twitter, type link, type text with the value. But it's not rendering it, is it? What is missing? Why aren't... So here we have, I don't know what that is. This is being strangely difficult. I never thought playing with abstract syntax trees could be this bad. Is it because we don't have positions? Okay, what if we now actually use the modify thingy? So this creates a tree, type children, to blah blah blah. So that part should work. If a deadline has been set on the project and the deadline is approaching and there is still a lot to do on the project, well, that usually means let's see, remove parents, modify. modify direct children of a parent. So if the deadline is approaching and you're not going to be done, you have basically two things you can do. One is you can always move the deadline if that's possible, like some deadlines are more hard than other deadlines. Two, if you can't move the deadline, then you're gonna have to reduce scope and decide what doesn't actually need to get done in time for the deadline. So you can either optimize for shipping on time, or you can optimize for shipping everything. It's not realistic to like slog it out and just push through and get everything done, because you're likely not gonna succeed in that. So yeah, you gotta either cut the scope or move the deadline. Those are your only options, really. So how do I actually do this? Okay, what if we say, yeah, nobody cares as long as it kind of works. That is also true. What if we say paragraph and give it these children? Let's see, where are you? Paragraph, children, blah. Let's see if that's gonna work. And we say parent children push, what's this called? We're calling it children, but I think that's not gonna be the right one. So we are pushing children, paragraph. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong, because these aren't types, not defining types. No, so that should work. You root, and then instead of saying children, we just give it blah. Let's see if that's gonna do stuff. Paste. Ooh, so that kind of almost worked. But the link isn't showing up. Oh, because this has a value of raw, and instead it should have a child of text with value raw. Now that's going to work, right? So paste. Haha, nice. Okay, so that's now linking to Twitter. Validate DOM nesting. Paragraph can't be blah, so we're gonna have to say like this. Okay, this is gonna work now. Node got object, because parent children needs to equal children, right? Paste. Damn. So we're now able to link to a Twitter account as long as there is only a single Twitter username in the entire text. Now let's see what happens if we try multiple links. Okay, so let me commit that. Find text nodes, direct descendants of paragraph, locate username, split it into a link node. Okay, so we got that. Git status, git commit -a-m. What are we calling this? Link to username, to Twitter username in paragraphs. Okay, git push origin master. And now the next step is trying it with multiple things in the same. So the same paragraph with multiple usernames, I think, is going to break. Let's try. Who should we try? Hasn't been on any of these. streams in a long time, but let's see, maybe this will, he makes a good example. So let's see, bam, yeah, see, now the last one linked and the previous one didn't, which is a problem. So how do we solve that problem? Basically the problem is that we are now overriding the children. First we add children that have the right stuff, so the text and then the link, and then we replace everything with the other part. So I think we're gonna have to take a slightly different approach. We're gonna go here, and instead of linking each individual username, we're gonna have to link all of the usernames by going through them. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem that I'm not actually sure how to solve. Let's see, what can we do about this? Basically, I'll show you what's happening. So if we console log the children every time, console log parent.children, and I'm going to use the debugger. So debugger. Okay, now I paste that and we stopped execution. So here, I'm not sure if you can actually see this. Let me make sure that you can. So you can see it on the bottom left, just above my face. You can see that we have text. This should link to Twitter, which is correct, and then we have the link to my Twitter, and we have the rest of the stuff, which is this Lookid 5 blah. So then we click next, and we're replacing children again, except this time we're replacing them with this stuff. So we now have everything before Luke, and then we have the link to his profile, and then nothingness. But I think, aha, I know what we can do. We can take, let's see what happens if instead of replacing all of the children, we just replace the last child, because we are going from left to right, which means we are always working on the last part of the thing. Yes. So we're always working on the last part of the children array, which means we can just replace that and flatten the whole thing, and that should work. So let's see, parent children of parent children.length -1 becomes the new children. Now let's see if that works, or let's see at least what happens. So we got that, and I pasted in. Oh, and we're still using the debugger, so let me remove that because we're not going to need it anymore. So rerun that. We're now replacing the last child. Bam. And it gets completely confused, so that's not good. We had parent children equals the new children, right? Yeah. So let's do it this way. Parent children. Wow, I have looked at the word children for so long now, it's starting to look really weird when I see it spelled. Like, I'm not sure if it's still saying the same word. So let's see, if we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we splice -1, what if we, how do we do a replace of a thing? Splice with 5, no? splice. I know there's a way. JavaScript splice replace array item. By removing or replacing the existing items, JavaScript splice method adds removes. Okay, so I knew this works. Okay, so we are taking array splice index blah. Aha, okay, so that's how it works. If we say 1, 2, 3, 4, splicing -1, we're taking the last one and we're replacing one item with the number 5. No, that doesn't work. Tesla splice 1 Roadster. Okay, let's see. So to removed item Tesla. Oh, it changes it in place. Okay. So if we say a equals 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we say a dot splice -1, 1. We replace it with 5, and now we print a. We have 1, 2, 3, 5, which is what we want. So we're going to say parent.children splice -1, so the last item. We're replacing one item with the new children. But then that's an array, so we have to flatten that thing. So let's see, const children equals, what if we say 1, 2, 3, 4 splice 0 -1, no, -1, 1, 2, 3, no, that's none of that's gonna work. Okay, I'm just trying to find an elegant way of doing this, to be honest. So what, I can just do this. Let's try that. Parent children dot flatten, and let's see what happens. So I'm gonna take that out, paste. No, not that. Back to Scratchpad. This should link to blah. Paste, and it errors out. Children.flatten is not a function. Really, flatten isn't a function? I thought that was a function. JavaScript flatten array. I know there's a oh, it's just dot flat. Dot flat. Now let's try that. Blah, paste, boom. So that kind of worked. It almost worked. It didn't quite work. So the next step is making sure. So we're now replacing the last part of the array, which is correct, but we're replacing it with too many things. So how do I get rid of the overlaps? Aha, here. Instead of node value split by raw, we're going to take the last parent. We're going to say parent.children of parent.children.length -1. So we're taking the last child dot value and we're splitting that one. Let's see if that works. Paste, bam, yes. Okay, so that worked. We can now do whatever we want. Jack, and that works. Nice. Sweet. Okay, so we take out the console logs, console log, and the thing totally works. Cool, cool, cool. Get status. Okay, so let's see. I don't actually need to pass in the node anymore because we're only looking at the parent. So we also only need to get the parent back, because that's gonna, it's just not necessary to do everything else. And I know I don't really need to return it because I'm changing it in place, but it should work. Replace last child of parent with sub3 including a link. Okay, so that should now work. I can now make a GIF for this. And oh wow, we were fast. We got everything working in like 38 minutes, which is pretty fast. So git commit -m, clean up code. What else can we do? Okay, I said I'm going to replace, I'm going to make a GIF so that I can share it on the Twitters. So like that. Actually, let's move this together a little bit more so it's easier to read. Like that. Make GIF, record video. Look, I can link to Twitter names like this, or even any other name. Let's see, React or like blah, and then we can, and everything just works. Cool. So we got a little GIF. Now, what is next? What's the next thing we're doing? While I'm at it, let's add a now JSON file, and then I think this was built with create React app cat readme. Yes, that is create React app, which I really should replace the readme with something else eventually. So let's see, now Zeit CRA app, I know, okay. So that's gonna make it easier for me to deploy stuff, deploying, configuring, yarn create React app, blah, 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 yarn start, deploy. We're going to, for deployment to build and act as you would expect, you will need to create now JSON file to instruct now on how to handle your application in the build phase and when blah. Okay, so I'm gonna take all of this and copy it because I am lazy and I don't want to make my own. Vim now.json, paste, bam, cat now JSON. Does it have any names or something? Source package JSON, name my React app. So I'm gonna open it here and I'm going to change my React app to be tech letter app. Tech letter app, because that's what I'm calling it. The above now JSON file may look daunting, blah blah blah. Build instructions. Now build React scripts build. So we go to package JSON, to the scripts, add that part. What else do I need? Nothing. Aha. Vim.nowIgnore. We're going to add node modules here. Bam. Cool. Okay. So git status, git add dot, git status, git commit -m, add now JSON file. And while that's deploying, I'm going to go on Twitter and brag about what we just built, even though there's only 5 viewers left, but you have all been a great help. This is pretty cool. Easier and easier. Soon integrating into a Gatsby blog. Awesome. So we got that. What else do I need? Oh, I should also post that on the Telegrams. Done. Enable automatic linking to Twitter usernames. Tag letter app. Paste it there. Wonderful. Okay, so the next step is this. This is a problem. Right now, if I try to actually link to a tweet, I'm going to find a tweet and I'm going to try to link to it, and you'll see that it's not going to actually work. Yeah. So this one looks cool. Come on. Click. And if I go here and I say link to a tweet and I paste it, you see it turns into a, it's going to try to turn into a screenshot and it's going to fail and everything's going to be terrible. Well, it did try, it turned into a screenshot successfully, which is great. At least that part works. But we want it to be an actual link, so I gotta fix that. How do I fix that? Remark Twitter user links, screenshots, remark URL thumbnail. That's the one. So remark URL thumbnail. It says it's thumbnailable if blah. Let's console log these nodes and see what the difference might be. God damn it. Between just this or link to tweet like that. So we now have two links, right? One has a, actually let's copy paste that, reload the page just to make sure that the reloading works. It's just reloading. So paste, and we get two links. One is a type link that has children with text value, just the link itself. The other link has children that have text. The South doesn't, you know, the South does actually have the reputation for really good comfort food, like fried chicken and waffles. That's from the South. Grits, that is also from the South. Fried chicken in general is from the South, I think. What else is from the South? A lot of great food is from the South. So I think the main change here is going to be that the links usually have a child that is a represents the actual string, and if that is the same as the URL, no, by this Mexican food, I don't know. I'm kind of tired of Mexican food. There's a lot of Mexican food in California. I think what they mean is the American South. Okay, so if thumbnailable, the main sum blah, if thumbnailable and raw link, then we do the things. We say const raw link equals basically node.children0.value equals node.url. So if node.url equals the text of the link, then we want to change it into a screenshot. Otherwise, we want to keep it as a normal link. So let's see. I'm going to paste that. Yes, so that worked. So we now have a screenshot of the tweet or a thumbnail of the tweet, and we have the link to a tweet. Perfect. So that now works. I think I'm gonna have to Would you prefer Photoshop, Sketch, or InVision? It totally depends on what I'm trying to do. I like using Photoshop for digital art and for like manipulating photos, Photoshop. Sketch is really good for designing. Okay, cool. So git commit -m fix bug with URL links instead of screenshots. Git push origin master, and I'm going to deploy that again. So yeah, Photoshop for digital painting or digital art, or Photoshop for manipulating photos, Sketch for designing websites and web and apps and stuff like that. InVision is okay for designing websites, but it's even better for designing paper materials or print materials. So yeah, totally depends on what you're trying to do. Done fix bug with manual linking instead of thumbnails. Tech letter app, awesome. So I got that. That's going to deploy, and I think that's pretty much everything I was going to do with Tech letter app in this round of updates. So I'm going to now stop live coding. We made a lot of progress. This is going to be great for the next couple of months for me to use. And I don't think I'm gonna start a new project tomorrow, but I'm gonna start a new project next week where we are going to slowly rebuild my blog with Gatsby. So that should be fun. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you again next time. I'm not sure yet if it's going to be tomorrow or next week, but we'll see. See ya.